What is going on, everybody? Welcome into another live stream here on the channel. Let me fix this real quick, get a better view. Okay, welcome in, everybody. Welcome into another live stream here at Wildcat Cave. It's been a while, about another month since we've done one. I'm glad you guys are here. I hope you guys are ready for a fun night of, talking UK sports. There's a lot to talk about since the last time I saw you all. So let's just go ahead and dive right into it. But before we do, guys, once again, we are still really, really close to 1,000 subscribers. We are about 80 people away. So if you're watching this either live or later on, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Do that right now. There should be a link directly either here or here somewhere. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot to me. Let's keep this growing. I hope you guys enjoy what I do. I enjoy doing it. So please subscribe. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as we possibly can. We can keep doing things like this that are really fun. Also, after you subscribe, you guys have heard me say this before, but we have membership tiers here on the channel. Sign up for one today. There's one that should fit every budget and everybody's personality. Whatever you want, there's a membership tier for you. There's 3 different membership tiers. Number 1, the casual fan. This is $2.99 a month. Very cheap, very affordable. Comes with a few cool perks. Number 1, you get a members-only Discord channel that you can link to your YouTube account. Join in the Discord, and we can talk outside of just the YouTube videos, discuss, share some stuff that we can't necessarily put here on YouTube, do some giveaways we can't do here on YouTube. So that's a cool perk. You'll get a loyalty badge next to your name. So any comment you leave, any live chats here, you will have a loyalty badge next to your name, notating that you are a member, and you will, of course, get priority responses on everything that you post here on the channel. If you want to step up at $9.99 a month, you have the Die Hard Fan, which is member-only videos, early video access. You'll get a free Wildcat Cave sticker. If you can see that there, it looks just like that. I have those to send out to you guys. I've already sent a few out to you guys who guessed the closest score to each UK game. A lot of you guys have already gotten one. I've been in touch with a few of you, sending those out tomorrow. So be sure, number 1, to join a membership here. If you want something like that, you get in-video shout-outs and, of course, all the perks of the tier before. And also be sure to comment every week on my video of the UK score. The closest will get one of those stickers. And for those of you who want all of the perks and all of the access, we have the Caveman tier. That comes with members-only podcasts, Q&A sessions with me, exclusive interviews, a free T-shirt just like the one I'm wearing. And, of course, you'll have the most direct feedback on the channel, what you want to see, the video content you want, when you want to do it. So I will be taking, your opinions and your input extremely, extremely serious. You'll be first priority on everything. So again, if you aren't already subscribed, let's get to 1,000. And then once you subscribe, go to the membership tiers and sign up for the one that fits you best. And it looks like we have some comments already. I know, Joseph, you've been waiting on this all day. You've been commenting early along with Volsteak. You guys both commented early. You guys were in the waiting room. It's good to see both of you guys. Joseph says, just like we said, worry about one day at a time. It takes one game at a time. That's correct, Joseph. And we'll get into those games here in just a second. And just one more thing before we really, really dive in, guys. Obviously, we have 2 big topics. You have the football team and you have the basketball team. It's not super complicated, fairly simple, but those are the topics we're going to cover tonight. And I think there's a lot to break down with both of them. But one more thing, if you're subscribed, you're already a member, and you just like what we're doing here, you can always do a super chat, a super thanks, or a sticker here on the live chat. I'm not sure which side of the screen it's on for you guys. Whichever one it is, you can click the button, donate whatever amount you feel like you want to donate, and all of it is super appreciated. It all goes back to growing the channel and being here and, continuing to do what we do. Don't feel bad if you don't want to subscribe, be a member. We're still going to put the weekly content out, maybe more than weekly, especially once we get to 1,000 subscribers. That's the next milestone for the channel. So I hope you guys are excited. Tonight should be a really fun live stream. Like I said, in the community tab, if you follow that, I have thoughts, especially about the basketball team, which we will hit second. But anyway, we can go ahead and dive right in. Like I said, subscribe now before we get started. If you're watching this on delay or later on, make sure you're subscribed. Joseph also says, "Go Cats, man. Beat Mississippi State in football. Hashtag BBN. I was happy we won." Me too, Joseph. Me too. All right. So let's get into a little football stuff. Kentucky sits at 6-3 on the regular season. We are now bowl eligible. Make sure you guys are putting your comments over here on the live chat as well. We'll put those up on the screen periodically, and we'll discuss with you guys. Brett says that the basketball team cost him $15, so they're already on his list. Yes, me too. They cost me money as well. You're not alone in that. But anyway, back to football, Brett. Stay on topic. Come on. The football team is 6-3. They're going bowling. We are now bowl eligible. We beat Mississippi State at Mississippi State for the first time since 2008. That is Mark Stoops' first and last SEC West road win. He's never beaten an SEC West team on the road, and he never will again because next year Texas and Oklahoma come, and when they do, there goes the East and West divisions. They'll do the pods, whether it's 8 or 9 games, I'm not sure. But either way, it's good to break that streak. It's good that Stoops kind of got that monkey off his back. So overall, a good win. I'm in a weird spot with that one, honestly. Part of me's happy we won. Like I said, as a streak that's been going on forever, we always lose there. It's an SEC West team. We've played bad recently, so I'm happy we won. But I don't like being excited for the sake of being excited when you beat the 13th best team in the SEC. To me, that's not cause for celebration. That's just a good job and move on type of game. But I do see some of our fans, specifically the older fans, kind of, I don't know, almost rejoicing too much in it, in my opinion. Like I said, they use the argument a lot of Kentucky football used to be really bad. So any win we get now, we should just hush and be appreciative of it. And while that can be true to some extent, I don't think that's where you want to be as a program. In my opinion, that's a loser mentality. Stoops has done a great job elevating this program. There's no doubt about that. But now that he has elevated the program is no longer a bottom feeder in the SEC. We should be contending for, second or third in the East. I guess, that goes away, but we should be contending for 8-9 wins. And of course, that's only going to get harder when the SEC expands. But regardless, I'm not one of these fans that think we should just be happy with 7 wins because it's only happened a few times. I think once expectations and play is elevated, then expectations need to be elevated. And along with that comes, not being satisfied at 7-5. And one thing I've seen a lot of other people be kind of, I don't want to say upset about, but a lot of things I've seen online is that people are saying, well, Stoops and Vince Marrow keep saying, that their goal is an SEC championship. And that's ridiculous. And they shouldn't say that. It's not realistic here at Kentucky. And while all that may be true, it might not be realistic here at Kentucky. It's probably not, to be honest with you. But I get their sentiment. Stoops doesn't get to make comments like pony up and, these slight remarks at the fans that he does, and then expect us to be okay with 7-5 because we used to be really bad. But he's the one that elevated the program to where it is now. So he wants to preach that they're going for Atlanta and then, make slight remarks at the fans when they're not meeting his own expectations. So that I got off topic there a little bit. But it's all okay. We're 6-3. We're guaranteed a bowl game right now. I think most of the projections have us in the Duke's Mayo Bowl or the Liberty or Music City, one of those 3. And right now, our most likely opponents are the Mayo Bowl with Duke, which I think would be fun. I think it does a disservice to Kentucky, to both teams, really, because all that's going to be talked about is how these two are basketball blue bloods, and now their football teams are playing each other. And another opponent in those bowls was Kansas projected, so that's also kind of the same thing. I think it'd be really fun. I actually think it's a good matchup for Kentucky football-wise, but it would be overshadowed by the basketball thing. One of the other ones was Georgia Tech, who we played recently, and then Miami, who is actually a really cool matchup. Again, the basketball teams play this season at Rupp. but at least it's not a long history like it is with Duke and Kansas and the other blue bloods. Miami's not a blue blood. So I think that'd be cool. And it's a football program that while they might not be great, they have history. So another good win under Stoops' belt, kind of like when we beat Penn State, a traditional powerhouse in football. Maybe we just catch them on a little bit of a down year. We get the win, and we can say we beat Penn State or we beat the U. So both of those are really cool. I did forget to say cheers to you guys at the beginning. So here's to you all. But anyway, let's see. We got a couple comments here. Let's get to them. Joseph says, talk about Alabama next. I really hope we beat Alabama, man, and we'll see what happens. Alabama's definitely on the list. I got my notes here, but they are definitely on the list. We're going to talk about them shortly. And Brett says, as long as y'all don't play Iowa again, it should be fun. I mean, if we play Iowa this year, I barely watched the game last year, and we had a much faster tempo, which is saying something because this year's really slow, and last year was really slow. But we are the slowest offense in the NCAA, and Iowa's next. So that would be an absolute snooze fest. I don't think they give us Iowa 3 years in a row. Who knows if that, the rankings in the SEC and the Big Ten even match up to where that works. I don't think we play Iowa. Like I said, this was not on my list of topics of bowl games, but I do think it'd be cool. Personally, I would like to play Duke. I know it's a basketball thing, but I just want that. I don't know. Maybe it's the basketball fan in me coming out, or I don't know, but I want to play Duke personally, and the Duke's Mayo Bowl would be cool. I don't know that Stoops would be like Shane Beamer and let them dump 5 gallons worth of mayonnaise on his head, which looked like it hurt. But I do think that it'd be a different bowl than we always go to. We always go to the Liberty in the Music City, or the Gator or something like that. We're not good enough to go to the Citrus or, a New Year's Six. So I think it'd be a cool bowl to go to, something different for a change. We'd play a new opponent, whether it be Kansas or Duke, or I don't really want to play Georgia Tech. But, even if we get Miami, Duke, Kansas, one of those teams, I think it'd be cool. So that would be my pick as of right now. Maybe we steal a win we shouldn't, and we jump up to a Gator Bowl or an Outback Bowl, whichever one it's called now. But that would be my pick. Joseph says, what if we play Evansville in football? I don't think they have a football team. If they do, keep them out of us. They've hurt us enough in the past few years. But anyway, we did just beat Mississippi State like I started with. So we'll go over a little bit of that. Devin Leary, 13 of 22 for 156 yards, 59%, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, a 77.3% QBR. So by no means is that a write home and tell your folks about the game you had type of game. But it was solid, good enough, a huge step forward from where he and the passing attack has been recently, minus the Tennessee game. So all signs look like they're pointing up for our passing game after drop passes and bad misses and how uncomfortable he looked and sacks and all of the woes we had at the beginning of the season, after we had hyped up all season how this passing game was going to be this electric, light up the scoreboard type of offense. The first 6 games of the season, it didn't come to that. 7 games of the season, whatever it was, it did not come to fruition, but these last 2 it has. Like I said, Leary did only play 3 quarters of this game, went out with something in his eye. There was differing opinions on that with Stoops and Cohen. Stoops says he has something in his eye. Cohen says his vision's blurry. Sounds like a concussion to me. Who knows what they'll actually do. I don't know that any comment was made today about it in Stoops' press conference. If it was, I missed it. But hopefully, Leary's okay. He passes all the concussion tests or whatever it was, and we see him this coming week for Bama. Ray Davis, who has been the leading rusher in the SEC, rushed on 21 carries for 80 yards, so about 4 yards a carry, just under. As a team, they rushed for 110, so not a bad outing by any means, by anybody. 110 yards on the ground is not bad, especially when your passing game is going. 80 yards for Ray Davis. He did fall to second overall in the SEC in rushing yards. I think the Missouri running back passed him. He's only about 15 yards ahead of him. So nothing Ray can't get back, but he does have a tall task coming with Alabama. But overall, not a bad performance from the offense. There's some stuff that, dumb penalties again, holding Josh Caddis, and just, missed blocks. And then we had a couple catches that should have been caught. I mean, they were tough catches, so I'm not going to consider them just bad drops. But probably, still could have caught them. Dane with the touchdown, of course, we'll talk about in a second. And then receivers, Tavion Robinson, 5 catches, 91 yards, was the star of the game. Had a bunch of big-time catches on third downs. And, of course, 5 for 91, so he's averaging 15 yards a catch or more. So really good game from Tavion again. It seems like that is Leary's guy that he trusts the most, which I'm okay with. Senior, veteran guy, glad he came back, especially early in the season. And then you have Dane, who probably had maybe his best game of the season, second best maybe. 4 catches, 36 yards, and a touchdown. Could have been 2 touchdowns on what would have been a great throw and a great catch. The rules for catching in the end zone are a little different than rules for catching in the field of play. He maintains possession, hits the ground, kind of rolls over, and the ball falls to his lap. They didn't consider it full possession. They took the touchdown away from him, unfortunately. But overall, still a good game. Also had 1 or 2 really big catches besides his touchdown, obviously. Berryon also 4 catches, 24 yards. They tried to get the ball to Berryon in a lot of different ways other than just throwing it. They had him in the backfield some. They had him on some sweeps. So a good game overall from our core receivers, which are those 3. And then I would be remiss if I didn't mention DSK, Demisumo Karmbe, 1 catch, 4 yards with a touchdown. So it was actually a really, really good throw and a really good catch. Very similar to Ray Davis's touchdown against, I believe, Florida at home, where he just kind of runs out of the backfield and runs a seam right up the hashes up into the end zone. A great over the shoulder, reaches out, catches it. So good for DSK. Good to see him finally, have a big play. And then overall from the receiving core, I thought they did well. Like I said, Tavion kind of led him again, which is what he was brought here to do. Dane and Berryon both played good. No insanely bad drops or, anything like that. So as far as the offense goes, it's hard to be upset with them, to be quite honest. I like where things are heading. It sucks that we have Alabama next, and that's the defense they have to go up against. But, it is what it is. Life goes on, and you got to deal with it. So I like that. I hate that it's taken, what was it? Let's see. We're 9 games in. It took 7 games to figure it out. I wish they would have figured it out against Missouri. They had the chance to win that game. And if they beat Missouri, everybody here looks at this whole season differently. If we're sitting at 7-2 with 3 games left instead of, whatever we are now, 6-3, we're dreaming the dream of 9-3, 10-2. We pull off the Alabama upset, and then, whatever happens, happens. We're dreaming those dreams if only Missouri goes different. We had them beat in the first quarter, and then we just gave up. So that's sad to see. But overall, I like that the offense has finally figured it out. We're heading in the right direction. The receivers are playing well. Leary's playing well. The O-line's playing well. The only small concern I have is the running game. It seems like that's kind of, as the offensive passing attack has kind of taken a step forward, it seems like our run game has kind of taken a small step back, which is maybe expected when, one part of your offense kind of takes that jump forward. But I'd still want to see Ray Davis get, 21 touches is a lot. It just wasn't going anywhere. It seemed like the offensive line couldn't get the push that they needed to really open up lanes for him, like we've seen them do against other teams for whatever reason. So I'm hoping that, they get that fixed and we can maybe, Alabama's going to be a tall task. But, against USC South Carolina and Louisville, hopefully we see our offensive line open some holes and we finish the season strong, running the ball like we started it. And let's see, Joseph, you say you hang up UK posters in my room. You should. That's what we do as fans. I got a couple here, obviously, and I got some more that aren't even hung up. I have the football poster back there that's signed by all the players. I have a Coach Cal poster, which isn't football. I got Kroger Field back here. It's hard to do this reverse, guys. Back here. Oh, you said you did. That's good. Good. You have to show them sometime in one of your videos, Joseph. You should show the posters off. And then on defense for Kentucky, Trevin Wallace led the team, 9 tackles, 1 sack, 1.5 tackles for a loss. Really good game. Actually, first play of the game, he lit up Mississippi State's running back, kind of set the tone that this is going to be a hard physical game. A very chippy game, to be quite honest with you. It seemed like every, punt, kickoff, whatever, there was a fight. And the sideline reporter, Alyssa Lang, asked Will Arnett, the coach for Mississippi State, about it. And he said, these are 2 physical teams. We're physical. We respect how they play, and we return that respect by also being physical, which is if you heard the broadcast, Tom Hart said that's a football guy answer, and it is. It was the perfect answer, honestly, for the situation. Maxwell Hairston, 8 tackles, had a good game. Ty Bryant, 8 tackles. Those were your top 3 leaders in tackles for the game, 9, 8, and 8. So really good games by all those guys. And then De'Aric Jackson comes up with 3 tackles and a big interception, which really helped early in the game kind of get Kentucky to put the game mostly out of reach and then, finish it off in the second half. So overall, I'm really happy and really pleased with his overall sentiment. Was just, we should be happy about this win. It's a big win. It's an SEC road win. Those don't come often. And while I agree, I don't, because they're the 13th best team in the SEC. They're not good. They had their starting running back and quarterback out of the game. So I don't like that we have fans with that attitude of we should just be happy with it and everything went perfect when it didn't. We missed a ton of tackles, especially in the first half. We missed more tackles than I can count. Now, one of the really good things about it, though, they did have a 20-play drive that only ended up in 3 points, and that's the only points they got the whole game. If you tell me that Mississippi State is going to have a 20-play drive and come up with only 3 points, I'm taking that 10 out of 10 times. Brad White, I think for sure, has some cleaning up to do on his end. Like I said, you just can't miss that many tackles, but whatever. Brett says, I don't know about anyone else, but your stream is cutting in and out and had about a 30-second pause. I can't see that on my end, obviously. So you guys let me know if that's happening. Normally I get a little notification up here if, the signal's bad or whatever. But if it is happening, I'm sorry. I will try to get that fixed. I'm moving here soon, so hopefully I'll put the Wi-Fi router closer to the room I'm in. But regardless, we're just going to keep rolling. I hope you guys can hear me. If not, maybe it'll be better on playback. Go back and listen to it and see what you missed. Hopefully not too much, though. But overall, like I said, I like where the team's going. If all it's going to take now for us to have a special season is for us to pull off a win we shouldn't. Right now, we're not going to be favored in maybe any of the games left. We're definitely not favored against Alabama, where it opened up as 14.5. I think it's bet down to 11. Underdog. We might be favored at South Carolina. With it being at South Carolina, it's going to be close. And then, of course, at Louisville. Louisville will be ranked maybe top 10 if they keep winning. They're 13th right now, so there's a good chance they move into the top 10. So that'll be a big game for us. We're not going to be favored there. But overall, I think everything's still on the table. I think in my preseason video, I predicted 9-3. I said it could be 8-4, 9-3, but I was being optimistic and went 9-3. So I'm not going to be disappointed at 8-4 if we can get there. Now, if we finish 7-5, which is likely, then I'm not going to say the season's a failure, but I'm also not calling it a success. We had too much talent returning. We had too many good players coming in to finish the season 7-5. And like I said, really the pivot point's going to be that Missouri game if that's what happens. We have 3 games left. We're 6-3. To get to 8-4, we got to win 2. So we are probably going to lose to Alabama, and then we'll probably beat South Carolina, even though being there makes it tough. And then we have at Louisville, who's better than we expected in the first year under Jeff Brom. So none of it's a given, but none of it's a guaranteed loss. We catch Alabama shown now they're peaking right now, which is good for them, but they've shown that they can be beat and they've played bad at times. It's going to take a perfect game from us and a bad game from them, but it's not impossible to catch them at noon this Saturday sleeping. And then South Carolina, really, really bad. They're 2, 3, 4 wins, something like that. Not good at all, to be honest with you. Spencer Rattler is a real big letdown in his second year. Shane Beamer has everything falling apart. So we love to see that. Should be a win down there. But again, we can't afford to take any of these as guaranteed wins. So I think these are all winnable games, all losable games. We should beat South Carolina, probably lose to Bama, and then it all hinges on Louisville. I genuinely think the way this season is perceived by fans is going to depend on how do we play against Louisville. We've beaten them 4 years in a row, I believe, and not just beaten, killed at least 3 out of the 4 years, and still beat them by 2 possessions last year. So overall, I think we go into the Louisville game more than likely 7-4. And if we beat them, we're 8-4. I don't think many people complain. That's a good year. That's what most people predicted. Maybe not the way we thought we would get there, but we got there nonetheless. And I personally, I'll have not very many complaints if we finish 8-4. But if we lose to Louisville, finish 7-5, which is at least 1, maybe 2 games under where most fans thought we would be, then maybe we look at the season differently. It's not as 7-5 don't sound as good. It's you're looking at a mediocre bowl. 8-4 gets you at least a bowl you've heard of. 7-5 gets you in probably a pretty terrible bowl game, to be honest. One of those 63 that no one cares about. So I hope, maybe we shock the world and beat Bama. Let's be honest. If we finish 7-5, we lose to South Carolina, Louisville, but we beat Bama, we're all probably happy. But it's going to take one big win, whether that be Alabama or Louisville, and we take care of business in South Carolina for this to be considered at best a success, at worst a satisfactory season. Brett says, I hate how content UK fans are with a mediocre season. Programs like Georgia and Alabama would be looking to fire their coaches if they had a season like that. Yes. Actually, I'll leave that up there. You're right. I do think there's a portion of the UK fan base that is content with what I guess you would call mediocrity. 7-5, 8-4. That's fine. If that's what you want to call mediocre in the grand scheme of college football, you're probably right. However, and this goes completely against what I said at the beginning, we have not had that very much. I think there's been, in my lifetime, like 7 to 10 seasons where we were 7-5, and most of them have come in the past few years. So I don't think you can't compare Kentucky to programs like Bama and Georgia, because if Bama and Georgia go 7-5 for 2 years, they're gone. It's a different thing. It really is. But that's kind of you've seen it with Kentucky basketball, for example. Kentucky basketball is Alabama football. And we've just had 3 bad seasons, which aren't even bad by some standards, besides the NCAA tournament wins. But as far as season records of, I think it was 21-9 and something and 7, those aren't even terrible seasons. But for Kentucky basketball, that caused people to call for Cal's job, who's a Hall of Famer, who is the best winning streak in college basketball history at Kentucky, recruits the best players, has a championship. So it's different. I do think some, especially the older fans, are content with 6-6 and 7-5. And I think I made a post about this earlier this week, that if you're in my age range, mid to late 20s to early 30s, it's weird because you've seen the bad Kentucky football and you can appreciate where Stoops has brought this program, but you're still young enough to be like, well, expectations are here now. They were here, but now they're here. So we can't go back. We can't be content here anymore. We used to be content making a bowl game. Remember the Make Kentucky Bowl eligible shirts? We're past that. So now this is our new floor. We can't keep expecting here to be okay. So that's kind of where I'm at on it. Yeah, but at the same time, you can't compare Kentucky basketball to, say, Alabama basketball. They're good now, but they haven't been. They've been terrible until the past couple seasons. So it's just a different thing. I don't like that expectation of Kentucky football, but I do agree some of the older fans are okay here still when they need to get here. Let's see. Austin, UK 31, Bama 28. I love it. Golly, Joseph, 48-10, Kentucky. Listen, if that happens, you guys will see a new side of this channel. There will be a lot of this, and I just won't be able to be shut up, to be quite honest with you. If we beat them by 38 points, I will be the most obnoxious person on Kentucky YouTube. You guys might get tired of me, to be quite honest, because that'll be all I talk about forever. Coach Calipari is my favorite college basketball coach at UK. Me too. He was hired when I was in 8th grade, I believe. That's the John Wall year. Was my freshman year. We won, or 8th grade year. We won the championship my sophomore year of high school. So I've kind of, I remember the Tubby years, slight memories of the end of Patino. But other than that, Cal's done more at this school than probably anybody except Rupp. So yeah, definitely my favorite college UK coach or UK coach, whatever. It's just the SEC culture though. Other than conferences, that's an awesome season. Just the standards are different. That's also true. You take Kentucky, who say we end up 7-5, put them in the ACC or even the Big Ten West, and we're in the Big Ten championship game. We're second or third in the ACC. So all of this is relative. That's why you see us dominate most times in when we play a bowl game against a team from another conference when everybody plays. Obviously, Will sat out last year, so that's a little different, but But the SEC is just different. And what Stoops has done here is great to get us from a bottom feeder, losing 40-0 against Vanderbilt to where we are now. So I don't want to take anything away from Stoops and company with what they've done with this program, but at the same time, expecting us to be Bama and Georgia is a little far-fetched. Let's see. You said you met Antonio Ruse at Bowling Green. That's cool. I have not met him. I've seen a couple of the basketball players around. I've met Keon Brooks a couple years ago. I've met a decent amount of them. Haven't met Antonio, though. He seems like a cool guy. You have to tell me more about that, Joseph. The real MVP. I feel like Kentucky is the Wisconsin of the SEC without major changes. I don't see Kentucky doing anything better than 8-4 with UT and OU joining the schedule in the SEC. That's, it's not getting easier. 8-4. Honestly, 8-4 in next year's schedule is going to be an outstanding season. We go to Texas. I believe we go to Ole Miss. I don't remember the rest of them, but those two are hard enough. And then you, of course, have we have Auburn. I think we go to Auburn maybe. So it just gets hard. You know what I mean? It gets harder from here on out. So 8-4 going forward is going to be a really good season, not just for Kentucky, for teams like Kentucky, for Missouri, for Tennessee, for Ole Miss, even for Arkansas is bad this year, but Florida if they don't fire Billy Napier, all of these like the tier below Alabama and Georgia, all those teams. Once Texas and Oklahoma join, 8-4 is going to look a lot better than it does this year. And then let's see. You said you want to meet Oscar Tshiebwe. I do as well. I think he seems like a really good guy. I got his jersey laying over there. So what are your thoughts on Coach Kenny Payne? Got his win at Louisville last night over University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Let me tell you, and this is not a joke. This is my opinion on that win for Louisville. In my opinion, and you can disagree if you want, in Kenny Payne's time at Louisville, this is a top 5 win for him. If you didn't catch that, he only has 5 wins in 2 years at Louisville. So, of course, it's a top 5 win. He won 4 last year, and, of course, that one. So, congrats to Louisville. It's newsworthy for them that they beat a team that has done nothing by 1 point in overtime. So, congratulations to Louisville. I'm glad to see that they're already in midseason form playing terrible. They play not Coppin State next. They play another bad team. Oh, Chattanooga, who's actually decent. I expect them to lose to Chattanooga, and we'll see what happens at Coppin State. Put your guys' opinions in the chat section over here. I'm going to set the over-under for Louisville basketball wins this season at – they already got 1 under the belt, so they're a quarter of the way to what they did last year. I'm going to put their wins at 7.5. Put in the comments, does Louisville win more or less than 7.5 this year? I don't think they win. They might win 1 or 2 ACC games. I don't know how many they win out of conference. They have one, but it was against a bad team. They have Coppin State. They probably win. They lose to Chattanooga. So I don't know. It's going to be close. But congratulations to Louisville on a top 5 win for Kenny Payne. That's big for his legacy. Kenny definitely won those games. If Kansas can beat Oklahoma, I think we can too. Yeah, I don't think Kansas is head and tails above everybody else, especially Kentucky or any SEC program. I definitely think they can beat Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma's a little fraudulent this year. But at the end of the day, it's like to be honest with you, it's what we play against every week, is teams that have better recruits and better players than we do. Still, Tennessee has better players. Florida has better players, and they suck. Georgia, we probably have better players than Missouri. South Carolina, even probably to some extent, has better players than Kentucky. So overall, it's going to be more of the same. It's just, the name on the jersey, a lot like, Alabama and Georgia. It's going to be the same problem with Texas and Oklahoma. But I don't think it's impossible for us to beat them. I don't know how consistently it's possible. But I don't think that on a one-off situation that they're just so good we can't touch them. Louisville has 25% of their wins from last year. Yes, they do. We just touched on that. Let's see. I don't really like Louisville. I'm still a UK fan. Yes, sir. Nobody likes Louisville. Does Louisville have more football wins than Louisville basketball? I think it's undoubtedly. What is Louisville right now in football? They're 8-1, I think, in football. So, if I set the line at 7.5, that's a pretty good line if that's what you're measuring it off of. I do think we beat Louisville in football, so that's another loss. They'll lose the ACC championship. So I'm definitely taking Louisville football for wins. Louisville wins less than 7.5. I think I'm kind of with you. It's going to be close, but that's about the right line, I feel. Anyway, one last thing on football. We'll move to some basketball because we've wasted over half the time talking football. One little highlight that could be good for Kentucky football is that Alabama gives up the most sacks in the SEC. I think they've been sacked 39 times, which is more than anybody else. So if you're looking for a silver lining or a sliver of hope, we have a really good defensive line with Deion Walker, Silver. These guys' names always escape me. But the rest of them, they've played really well. They've created more sacks this year than we've seen in at least the past few seasons since Josh Allen. So I do think we have a really good D-line. If we can get pressure on Jalen Milroe, maybe that helps. It's going to be an early game. I hope it's cold. So maybe there's a chance there with Alabama. Anyway, we're, I guess, at the halfway point. Actually, we're past the halfway point, but that's okay. We'll just we're going to take a pause here in the action, and we're going to kind of recap some of the stuff we said at the beginning in the quickest fashion I know how. So once again, guys, we have more people here than we did in the beginning. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. If you're not subscribed, do that right now while we're doing these read-throughs real quick. Subscribe right now. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 1,000. It's basketball season. We got Kansas and Miami and Gonzaga and North Carolina and all of these good teams. Let's grow this channel. Subscribe right now if you're not already subscribed. And once you subscribe, look at the membership tiers. We have 3 to choose from. The first one is $2.99 a month. It's the casual fan. You'll get access to a members-only chat room, loyalty badges, and priority responses on your video. Step number 2 is the diehard fan for $10 a month. Member-only videos, early access, a free sticker that looks just like this one, and in-video shout-outs along with all of the perks of the first tier. And finally, if you want all of the perks, subscribe to the Caveman tier. You'll get member-only podcasts, Q&As, exclusive interviews with other UK personalities, and a free t-shirt just like the one I'm wearing right now. So all of that is available to you guys. Pick the one that fits you best. Make sure you subscribe and look at those. If you don't want to do any of those memberships, also take a look at the super chat, the super thanks, and the stickers in the chat right now. All of those come in different dollar amounts. Throw one in the chat. All of this, no matter what, even just a free subscription, just subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost you a dime. All of that means the world to me. So I really appreciate all of you guys that watch and are here right now or are watching this later. So I do appreciate it, guys. Just, keep growing the channel. Tell your friends to subscribe. Even if they're not Kentucky fans, that's okay. Just tell them to subscribe. It means the world to me. Thank you guys for being here and watching. And now we can take a break. Cheers to you guys. We're going to talk some basketball. And I appreciate each and every one of you watching this video, being fans of the channel. Share the video to social media. Share the channel to your social medias. Again, it all means the world to me. If you guys do that, send me a screenshot. My email is in my bio on the channel. It's literally wildcatcave@gmail.com. Send me a screenshot of you sharing it, and I'll send you a sticker for free. You don't have to sign up for the memberships, but I would appreciate if you did regardless. Also, be sure to check in every week when I post a video. I'll tell you guys the game of the week, guess the score. Whoever's closest, I will send, again, one of these stickers to. All for free. All you have to do is email me a place to send it, address, P.O. box, whatever you feel comfortable, and I will send you one. That's Kentucky Water, a.k.a. bourbon. Yes, sir, it is. Once again, for like the past 3 live streams, it's been the same bourbon. It is Monk's Road, made by some distillery. I forgot, Log Still maybe. Regardless, it is good bourbon. Very good bourbon. So it is Kentucky Water. I like that. Anyway, Joseph says he's for sure going to go back to UK basketball games. Yes, me too. Me too. I went to Big Blue Madness. As you guys saw, if you haven't seen, go check out the vlog from about 3 weeks ago. It's on there. And for some UK basketball. UK basketball opened up the season last night. They are now 1-0, which is good for Coach Cal. We're at least tied with Louisville in wins so far this season. So if we can just keep pace there, I don't think any Kentucky fans will have many complaints. Overall, I'm just going to go through a little bit of the box score. I will tell you my opinion on these guys. As I'm doing it, feel free to drop your opinions in the chat over, I don't know, you guys tell me, is it over here? I think it's over here. I don't know. Either way, Kentucky basketball beats New Mexico State 86-46, a good 40-point win to start the year. Trey Mitchell starts our box score with 9 points on 3 of 8 shooting, 0 for 3 from 3, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. I think we're going to have a lot of guys flirting with a triple-double this year. Trey can score 10 easy. He had 9 rebounds, so he's right there on rebounds as well, and 5 assists. He's a good passer out of the post. Maybe the most important transfer this year, one of the only transfers, but probably still the most important out of the transfer portal. Thank you, Bob Huggins, for that one. The only real complaint I have about Trey right now is his 3 wasn't falling last night, which is fine. He's shown that he can make it, so I don't mind him taking it, even though he was 0 for 3. He did ruin my parlay, so I had him at 10 points. I had him at 10 points. He had 9. He missed a free throw, so I'm upset with him for that. But overall, I think he's going to be good for us, especially we're missing 21 foot on the inside with 3 7-footers out right now. Aaron Bradshaw does seem like he's going to come back, and we'll talk about him later. And we'll talk about the rest of the bigs later as well. But overall, Trey Mitchell, I think he, like I said, is probably the most important transfer on this team. I think he does a lot. I'm glad that Cal is forced to play him at the 5 right now, because the way we spread the floor and allow driving lanes and stuff and play 5 out, I think that's, first off, it's night and day from what Cal normally does. And it's the way modern basketball is played. He's a modern big. This is great for Kentucky. And you've seen it allowing guys to get to the rim, who we'll talk about in just a second. And yes, Antonio Reeves did not hit 15, which also messed up my parlay. I'm with you. But yes, Trey Mitchell, let me know what you guys think about him over in the comments. I think he is going to be great for Kentucky this season, even after the bigs come back and he moves to the 4. With him just being able to stretch the floor like he does and hit those outside shots, even though they wasn't falling last night, I think it's going to be really, really good. I'm excited for this year and to see what Trey does. Next is Adou Thiero, who scored 5 points on 1 of 3 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, 7 rebounds, no assists. Oh, Adou. I feel like this is the one take that I differ on from most people that I see online. Everybody praises Adou whenever he does anything, to be quite honest with you. And I just don't have that love for him. I think he plays really hard. I think he tries to make the right play, the aggressive play. He goes after balls. He goes for rebounds. He dives. He does all of the intangible stuff you want out of a guy. I just don't think he has the skill, talent, whatever you want to call it. I just don't think he has that to go behind it. He did, I don't want to talk bad about him because he did get hurt last night. Probably another concussion, but so I hope he's good. I hope he's okay. Comes back soon. Hopefully he's back before the Kansas game. All that stuff. But it seems like a lot of our fan base really rallies behind Adu, and I think he does do some stuff really well. But he's careless with the ball. He can't really handle the ball. He's not a great shooter. He gets to the rim and just does too much. He tries to dunk on people that's not there, and he misses layups, and he doesn't. He's not a great defender. So in my opinion, he's raw. It's year 2 for him. I think he still needs at least 1 more year, maybe 2, to really become the player that he wants to be and that we expect him to be. But for me, once we get our bigs healthy, I don't mind seeing Adu less, to be honest with you. And I hate saying that. I think he's a good kid. It's just I don't know what he contributes that is better than anybody else that the other person can't do. Once Trey comes back to the 4, I think Trey's a better player. I think Aaron and Z and, minus Ugo, I think all those guys are better, but Adu is still growing. He came in at 6'5". He's now 6'8". He's put on like 40 pounds. So I think Adu does a lot of the hustle plays. I think he does a lot of the intangible stuff. As far as raw talent, though, I don't know. Like I said, I think he does too much and gets himself in bad situations, turnovers, missed layups and dunks, stuff like that. Brett, you asked, what are the odds Kentucky wins the SEC championship this year? I don't know, Brett, how much basketball knowledge you got? You talking regular season? You talking NCAA tournament? Regular season, it's all going to depend, honestly, on the timeline for the bigs, which we'll talk about at the end. I think the odds are still good. If you made me say regular season, probably not. Probably second or third in the regular season, just depending on the return of the bigs and how quick that all meshes. It wouldn't shock me one bit if they win the SEC in the regular season. This team has shown that they can be really, really good. Just, the ball has to bounce the right way. Kind of same with anybody that wins it, though. It takes a little bit of luck. So I do expect Aaron to be back by the SEC play. So as long as if he's full speed before SEC play starts, then I would probably pick Kentucky to win the SEC. I don't think Tennessee's very good. I don't think Bama's going to be great, but, it's still hard to win on the road in the SEC. Kentucky's going to drop a couple they shouldn't, but so is everybody else. So said, okay, regular season, we all know they won't make the Sweet 16. Do you know anything about basketball, Brett? Let's be honest. I asked regular season SEC or SEC tournament. There's not 16 teams in the SEC tournament, so by default, they make the Sweet 16. Technically, they make the Sweet 14, and technically, as long as they're a top 4 team, they'll make the top 8 because they'll get a double bye. So, sir, come on. If you're going to come at me, at least know what you're talking about. But either way, I do think it's a good chance they win the SEC regular season, especially if Bradshaw is full go before then, which it seems like he will be. And then SEC tournament, it's a tournament, anything can happen in those games, to be quite honest with you. Nothing's shocking there. It would be great for the fan base for them to win because that used to be the Kentucky Invitational, and recently it just hasn't been. So I would love an SEC tournament win just for morale going into NCAA tournament. I would probably put them as SEC runner-ups right now, but, we'll see how the season plays out. Let's see. Brett says, yeah, I know a ton. I used to have the best basketball bat on the market. Yeah, I bet you did. Where are we playing the SEC? Where are we playing in SEC tournament? I assume you mean where is the SEC tournament? It is back in Nashville this year, which if I have any money to my name come late March, that's where I'll be. I hope I do. Probably won't. But, if I have any means of getting there, that's where I'm going to be. Because I think that'll be a great atmosphere. This team is good. They're going to be good. So it'll be fun to go, see Kentucky basketball get back. And I don't know how I've went this long. Hold on, I got to put this down. I don't know how I've went this long and not mentioned that Kentucky basketball is getting a new court. If you haven't seen it, look anywhere. Kentucky Athletics put it out today. Kentucky basketball is getting a new basketball court. Finally, thank God, it will be installed before December 2nd when we play UNC Wilmington. It's great. It gets those big Rupp Arena at Central Bank Center bumper stickers off of the court. That is going to be amazing for this. It has a bigger UK logo, which is something UK does. Even on the football field, the UK logo is super small in the center. I don't get that. But it's going to be a big UK logo. The state of Kentucky, like it is here, outlined softly on the court. It's going to be a little darker wood than the rest of the court. And then, the SEC logos and the paint and all that stuff. But overall, it's going to be a great, a huge upgrade from where we are right now with those big stickers. So that is something fans have called for 3 years. Sorry, excuse me. That's something fans have called for 3 years now. Our answers, our prayers were heard. Our pleas and our prayers were heard and answered. So Kentucky is getting a new court. Cal is wearing suits again. Kentucky basketball is back. I'm calling it right now. Bookmark this video if you're not a Kentucky fan. Come back to me in March or April and tell me how bad I was at making predictions. Kentucky basketball is back. Wildcat Tongue, if you don't follow him on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, he's a really good follow. He put out a stat. Kentucky has almost a 20% better winning percentage when Calipari's in a suit, and he's back in a suit this year, not a pullover. So that with the new court and the players we have, Kentucky basketball is back. So that was my rant on that. We'll move on. Next guy on the box score is Justin Edwards. I got thoughts on him too. Against New Mexico State, he had 12 points on 5 of 11, 2 for 5 from 3, 5 rebounds, and an assist. I don't know, man. He was the only UK player picked on the first team All-SEC preseason. He's projected as the number 1 draft pick in the NBA draft this year. I don't see it. I haven't seen it yet anyway. And he's, again, a guy that I think has it. I mean, we saw it a little bit last night. He's an explosive player. There's no doubt about that. He's good, man. Joseph, you said you got to go. I will see you, man. Go Cats. I appreciate you being on here, and we'll catch you on the next one. But Justin Edwards, man, he's supposed to be this huge, great freshman, and we stole him from Tennessee, and it's great, and I'm glad we got him. But up until this point, we haven't seen that huge breakout game from him. Even DJ, I think, played better than him last night. So I want to see more. I want to love the guy, but right now he's careless with the ball. He doesn't have good handles. If I couldn't count the number of times he dribbled the ball off his foot or tried to spin in the paint and lose it or go up for a layup and the ball fly up in the air. I want to like Justin. I really, really want to get behind Justin as one of the best players in the SEC because that's what he's supposed to be. It just hasn't came to fruition yet, man, and I hope it does. But in Canada, he had one good game, but the other ones I was really underwhelmed with. And then in the exhibitions, he didn't show much. And then in this first game, he didn't show a ton. He had a few good dunks, but that's really about it. So overall, I need to see more out of Edwards. I really do. I want to like him. I want to be behind him 100%. But as of right now, I just can't. He's got to step it up. We got one more game, and then we go to Kansas. And maybe he's a big-time player. You know, what Dickie V says, big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. So maybe Kansas is his, coming out party. I hope it is. But I need to see more out of Edwards. Up next, DJ Wagner, the man himself, the guy we've waited on for years. In his first game as a Kentucky Wildcat, 13 points, 6 of 13 from the field, 1 from 5 from deep, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. DJ obviously didn't shoot the 3-ball well, didn't have a great overall game, but he really seemed like he took over the second half. Everything we thought about this dude coming into the season, we were right about. Dude is a dog, man. He can get to his spot. He can beat his man. And on defense, like that dude just has a motor. nonstop poking at the ball, up in dude's face, meeting him at half court. Just a real pest, to be honest with you. But that's the type of guy you love. You love to get behind him. You see him get that little snarl on his face when he gets locked in. He's ready to go. And when DJ is like that, he's a great distributor. He's a good shooter. He can get to the rim against anybody. I really liked what I saw out of DJ, especially in the second half last night. I'm going to have to get a drink. Give me just a second, guys. All right, up next, Antonio Reeves. 11 points, 4 for 10 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. We know what Reeves is. He's probably going to lead the team in scoring this year, even though he didn't last night. Lights out shooter. There's not much I can say about him. He had a bad night last night shooting, and that's saying something when he went 2 for 6 and, had 11 points. That's high on a Cal team. But, he'll get it figured out. I'm not worried about Reeves at all. And he's the one constant, the one solid on this team I'm not worried about. So Reeves will be just fine. Not his best game, but there will be plenty more to come. Not worried whatsoever. Christopher says Dillingham over DJ. We'll talk about that. We will talk about that. Actually, right now. Rob Dillingham led the team last night in scoring, 17, 6 for 11 on the field, 2 for 6 from 3, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Rob is going to be, in my opinion, 80% of this fan base's favorite player, and he's going to come off the bench a lot of the year. I think what Rob doesn't give you that DJ does is that true point guard role. The ball, which Rob has extraordinary ball handling. But as a true point guard, the passing, the court vision, the kind of stuff you want to see from your traditional style point guard, I think DJ edges him out, along with, I think Rob has the confidence and stuff. I think DJ's just the dog, though. DJ's that defender, the get up in your face, I ain't going to take no whatever. If you know this quote, we is Kentucky, we don't give no blanks. DJ's that kind of guy, and Rob is to some extent, but not quite to the extent that DJ is. But I love Rob's game. He's those transition deep threes and some of the, he's shifty. That's what he is. He's shifty. There's another way to describe him. But the way he has put on weight, became more physical, and all of the rumors you heard about he might not fit in the system, he's not coachable, he's not this and he's not that, he can't play in organized basketball. He has done an amazing job proving everybody wrong. Rob is going to be most people's favorite player this season. He just seems happy, seems excited to play. I love Rob Dillingham, man. I love him. I don't know that I would put him over DJ, but I love some Rob, man. He comes off the court, or he comes off the bench, and he just gives you a spark of energy and excitement and athleticism that not many guys have. I definitely think he's going to be a lottery pick. Like Chris says, we were hoping for maybe 2 years of Rob. I don't know that it's going to happen. I wouldn't be upset if it does at all. Him and Reed come back. That'd be a great start to next year's class with Boogie Flan and Somto. But Rob, man, that dude is a firecracker. Now, there's going to be some games. He drove me crazy a little bit this last game, but there's going to be some games where he just makes me want to pull my hair out. But I'm okay with it because it is so electric and so fun to watch him with everything he does, to be quite honest. And then since we have a comment about Reed, we'll go to him next. Reed is going to play a lot more than what people thought this season. Absolutely. I thought he would be a 10-minute-a-game guy. Absolutely not. Reed is going to get 15 to 20 minutes or more per game. He's just such a smart player. He's more athletic than you would think he is. He can shoot the ball. He's maybe the best on-ball defender that we have. He finished 12 points last night, 4 for 6 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He's definitely, at least out of these numbers, the most efficient player that we have, besides one who we'll talk about next. But he plays small minutes. So out of the people who play big minutes, Reed was the most efficient. He has good vision. He plays amazing defense compared to everybody else. He is always under control. He doesn't turn the ball over. He knows his spots. He's obviously a fan favorite with his dad and his Kentucky connection and all of that. Reed is going to be a really, really fun player to watch this year. It's going to be great to see him kind of get the love that he has waited his whole life for, to play at Kentucky, the place where his dad won a championship. And what a story it would be for Reed to come in here and win his own championship just like his dad did. I think there would be nothing sweeter. I think it's a storybook ending. And the best part is I think we get at least 2 years of Reed. I don't know that we get 3. I think he might be an NBA pick. But, man, every time he makes a shot, his very first points at Kentucky was the signature two-hand legs crossed dunk, just like his dad. So what if you tell me that your leading scorer and your most efficient player are coming off your bench, then you got a pretty damn good team. So I don't know how much more you can be like. What more could I have told you about game one other than, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in double digits? Trey Mitchell was just 1 point away from double digits. So, you know, a very balanced attack. It's going to be rebounding by committee until we get the big guys back. So, I mean, if you tell me you got 5 dudes in double digits, you out rebound your opponent with 3 of your 7-footers out. You know, your bench is your highest scorer and your most efficient dude, and your freshman scored 61 of your 86. Man, that's a pretty good way to start. The only one complaint I have on this game was that they started a little slow. You know, they let New Mexico State hang in there a little too much for the first 10, 15 minutes of the game, but they outscored them something like 40 to like 17 in the second half or something, which is insane. So overall, man, I don't know. And one last guy to talk about, Jordan Burke, 7 points, 3 of 3 from the field, 1 of 1 from 3, 3 rebounds, no assists. He's giving you good minutes. He's not supposed to be playing the 5, but he has kind of forced to right now. If he can even just give you spot minutes like that, I think you take it. If you can get 7 points a game from him, then that means everything's clicking pretty well. So all signs point up there. His dad did win 2 titles. He is an absolute legend, but he was a red shirt, I think, for the first one, so he didn't actually play. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that in 96. But was the most valuable player in 98. So, yeah, Reed has some big shoes to fill, but all signs point up. Of course, you never know how many championships he's going to win or if he gets any, but anything is going to be he's definitely the most loved player on this team. Huge pops every time he comes on the court and does anything. He could fart in the wind in Rupp Arena, and the fans will go crazy. So Reed Sheppard is a monster. But again, I just can't get over, man, a balanced team, 5 dudes in double digits, should have been 6 if he hits a free throw. Your bench gave you, let's see, just Reed and Dillingham gave you 29 points off the bench. Your highest scorer, your most efficient player, 6 turnovers for the game is something freshmen don't do. Normally you're looking at 15 turnovers a game when you're playing that many freshmen. So overall, I think everything is pointing up. Cal's back in the suit. We're getting a new court. Kentucky basketball feels back. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, but Kentucky basketball feels like it's back. It feels like it did in the early years of Cal. It feels like it did in maybe this might be the most Kentucky basketball feeling team since, what do you guys think? I would argue 17 with the Fox Band Monk. Maybe you give me 18 with PJ or 19 with Richards and Quickly and Maxey. But definitely since then, easily since then, I can't think of a team in the past 4 years that's been this exciting, felt like there was this much, going on around the team. It seems like these dudes like each other, which is, component number 1 to having a successful year, team, program, whatever. In the past 2 seasons, Severe and Oscar didn't get along. There was a lot of, infighting within the team, a lot of locker room issues. Severe still didn't play against Bellarmine for Washington, so, who would have guessed? The Maxey year where the tourney got canceled, yeah, that one's going to stick with me, man. I remember exactly where I was watching Maxey go for whatever he went for, 26 or something against Michigan State in the Champions Classic. That was that team had a chance to really make a run. It sucks that season got canceled, because if it doesn't, maybe we look at everything a little different. But overall, man, just a really good, a really good team I think we have this year. We get Aaron Bradshaw back. We get Big Z eligible. Ugo, whatever. He'll get healthy at some point. I don't expect Ugo to contribute a ton, though, to be honest with you. We're starting to hit on all cylinders late. No. That 2019 team with Maxie Richards and Quickly, that team would have made a run for sure. You had the two best players in the SEC. They would have won the SEC that year, the tournament. They would have won the NCAA. They would have made a run in the NCAA tournament. So, and then even the hero year, they should have beat Auburn. It just sucks we had to play them 3 times. So all of that to say that, if COVID doesn't happen, who knows where we're at? Maybe we're all looking at this different. But this is at minimum the most exciting team since that Maxie team. I would argue they're more exciting than the Maxie team because they don't have Nick Richards that just, he never really developed that outside shot like we have this year with Bradshaw and Mitchell. So I think this is the most fun team since that Malik Monk year. Malik Monk is one of my favorite players personally that's ever come through Kentucky. So that is my opinion. I think this will be the most fun team since 2017. Hopefully we get the next Final Four run since 2015. I think this team has all the pieces to do it. Let me know if you guys think I'm crazy, but I really don't think I am, guys. I think this is going to be a fun team to watch. I think we got dogs. As Cal keeps saying, we have basketball players. And that's just something we haven't had recently. Like I said, just to touch on a few things before we wrap it up here. Freshmen scored 61 in the first game. That's huge. 2015 first game, 85-45. 2023 first game, 86-46. I didn't know that. It's an interesting stat. I've made a video last year as to why Kentucky would win the championship. And it didn't come to fruition, but that's a great start. If you're telling me we're 1 point off of our last Final Four run, I'm here for it. And that was also a 40-0 team. We need our bigs back. Obviously, we got Ugo out, which to me, honestly, doesn't hurt us that much. He's not that important to the team. Not that he's not a good kid or doesn't contribute in ways. He's just not that important when it comes to Kentucky winning big games. Sorry, I don't have much to say about him. I like Ugo, but ugh. And then you have Big Z, of course. I'm starting to get a little concerned about him. What's going on with the eligibility? I've heard it's not all NCAA. There's some UK stuff that's holding it up for some reason again. He's obviously in school, but UK's not doing their proper steps to get him eligible. And then, of course, the NCAA is slow about anything. So hopefully we get him back really, really soon. He's had food poisoning, which isn't good either. But I really hope he comes back soon because he can help us. And then, of course, Aaron Bradshaw. Cal said he's, 1 to 2 weeks. Well, definitely, Cal didn't say this, but, word on the street is that we will definitely have him back by the end of November. So that's really positive. We'll have him back before SEC play. He'll get a couple games under his belt before we get into the heart of the SEC. So that's really good. That helps, me feel better about, winning the SEC. And then, of course, if we can get him back for Kansas, that's the last thing I want to touch on. Kansas. We play Kansas a week from tonight. A week from today, we play the number 1 team in the country with Hunter Dickinson and the Kansas Jayhawks in the Champions Classic. Our Champions Classic record sucks, to be quite honest. And it's going to not be easy. I don't think a loss hurts you as long as it's not a 30-point loss. But I think Kansas is going to be tough. Hunter Dickinson, unless Bradshaw plays that game, is, a big ask. What I bet happens, Cal said a week or two, I bet we don't have Bradshaw for the Champions Classic and he comes back the next game. I don't think Cal's going to just throw him to the Wolves against Kansas, but I bet he comes back the next game. But if these guards can get hot and run, and because here's the thing, it's going to be hard for us to guard Hunter Dickinson in the post, but he's got to guard us. He's got to guard our guards running up and down the court. Trey Mitchell's faster than Hunter Dickinson. He's got to be able to stop us. So if our guards are hot and we're hitting shots and we're playing a fast tempo, we have a shot. But overall, guys, that is my take on football and basketball. We've went a little over our hour mark, but that's okay. So unless you guys have any last-second comments, throw them in the chat right now. If not, thank you guys for watching. This has been a great live stream once again. Good conversation, good topics. I love interacting with you guys. Subscribe to the channel right now. Get us to 1,000. Come on, we can do it. Big Blue Nation, I know you guys can do it. Get us to 1,000. Drop your predictions. Let's see, what game do we want to do? We want to do the Bama game, or do we want to do Texas A&M Commerce? Let's do Bama. Drop your comments. Drop your predictions for the Bama game in the comments. Closest person will get a sticker, like I've shown you guys a couple times in this video. It'll be fun. It'll be good. I love you guys. Thank you all for watching. Again, it's been really fun. Subscribe. We are 80 people away. Get us to 1,000. Last comment. Hope the flow of this team isn't disrupted when Biggs come back. Feels like Big Z has shot-making ability and would fit. I think both of our bigs would fit with Bradshaw and Z. I think both of them fit into this system and this scheme. I hope Cal uses them the right way. I trust that he will with John Welch. It's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you guys for watching. This is fun. Subscribe. I will see you guys next week. We're going to beat A&M. Let's see, Texas A&M Commerce. Let's say, I think we have a better offensive outing. I think we go 94-52. 94-52. Give me another 40-point win. I think Alabama game, off the top of my head, I think Alabama covers the 11. I don't think we're going to be able to stop them. Alabama 42, Kentucky 24. Those are my predictions, guys. I will see you guys next week after that, and we will get ready to go put the hurt on Kansas. I'll see you guys then. Subscribe. Talk to you later.